Yo, what's going on? Thank you so much for checking out this video, the full interview with my guy Foggieraw. There's gonna be some things covered in this video, controversial things. Can liberty ruin your credibility? His use of the N-word, John Keith's position on the N-word, and you might be offended by a few things here and there. So here's the deal, in the comments section, man, keep it peaceful. Don't be doing the drive-by comments where you just drop random Bible verses, being combative for no reason. Let us know what you've learned from the conversation. Let us know what you agree with. Let us know what you don't agree with. Be peaceful. If you're not, this channel is intimate enough and I'm petty enough where I'll probably go through, delete your comment, respond to your comment, potentially block you from this channel. So be peaceful, man. There's all kinds of people that watch these interviews. So regardless of what walk of life you come from, whether you agree or don't agree, be peaceful. Be loving. And if you want to help us create more content like that, we want to do that. We want to aggressively create more conversation, cover more topics, have more interviews. What you could do is you could partner with us on Patreon. Patreon is a monthly way to support your favorite creators, podcast artists, and you get all kinds of perks like all this content early. You get crazy discount codes for the website. You get all the music early and much more. So head on over to Patreon, support it. But right now, stay tuned for the full interview with Foggieraw. Thank you so much for watching this video. Peace. King's Dream Podcast for the Patreon. We got a special guest in the house.
Yes.
All the way from Maryland.
Yeah.
Foggieraw Bay.
Everybody, let's clap it
Foggieraw Bay. Clap it up for Foggieraw Bay.
Yes,
and of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Honey Blonde himself, the new rendition of Bruce Leroy. Ladies and gentlemen, John Keith. We got Zach Sparazzo on the camera and Charlie Powers in the studio audience.
Oh yeah.
We gotta get you on this joint, my guy.
Thanks.
We gotta have you on this joint right now. Thanks. So I want to have a conversation with you guys. I feel like I know both of you guys pretty well. I've known you for a couple years. That's crazy to say that out loud because y'all like new friends. You know what I'm saying? But I've known y'all for a minute. I feel like you guys represent two sides to the same coin, and we're gonna get deep. You know what I mean? But the context of like what is appropriate for a follower of Jesus, a disciple of Jesus, in the context of culture. Are there lines we should color within? I think you guys represent the same heart and the same vision, but expressed differently. And I think people probably got questions for you because I'm tired of responding to freaking. They text me like I'm like the big homie, like I'm supposed to correct you or something. And it's like I don't have a problem with Foggy's music. I love Foggy's music, and I think there's people, questions that people may have for you, and
I be talking mad trash,
and you be talking. I'm just be talking. And it's this line of where and how should we be operating as believers in music and culture. There's, again, extremes, right? One extreme is ministry over industry. We doing it for the kingdom. Altar calls, gospel presentations for I don't know whose voice that is. For Jesus
That's how they are
Christ. If you ain't leading souls to the Lord and putting on Instagram how many gay they are to the Lord, right? You ain't doing it for the Lord in a real way.
Either Sergio or TD Jake's white cousin. I don't know.
And that's that extreme. And then now we're seeing more and more of this like loosey-goosey, anything goes. Is Jesus, is he really essential? Is he really the only way? Is the Bible really the final authority on human conduct? Do I have to not talk about smashing chicks in my songs? I'm keeping it authentic. We're gonna call them the authentic squad, right? Like there's the authentic and there's the extra super duper sanctified, petrified, glorified. They bring in heaven to earth right now, and there's no room for artistry, and there's no room for expression, and there's no room for liberty. Damn, that was a good introduction. What y'all think about all this? Y'all are, I think, on different extremes, and I'll land on my specific question because I know where I want to go with this, but I just kind of want to get just general overview. What do y'all think about this current climate that we're in? Foggy, you can go first.
Okay, so I feel like basically at some point in your Christian life, you're kind of gonna be, it's like, I'm fresh. it's like, oh, I just became a Christian. Like, I'm like, oh, I can't listen to Brandy no more. You throw all that stuff away. And I feel like, you know, some people have different life paths where it's just like, okay, because I personally feel like I experienced certain things. I've met different people. I've been to different parts of the world, you know, so it's just like the way I see things is a little bit different, so it comes off as loose. But the way I see it is just like a little bit more understanding and having perspective. So I just understand, like, okay, you know what, maybe I'm okay with certain type of language because I'm going all over, and it's like, yo, I'm seeing Christians and they're using different type of language. And it's like somebody who you stayed in like Oklahoma your whole life, it's just like, okay, I don't really fault you.
Bang on Oklahoma?
I like Oklahoma though, but it's just like, okay, you be like, nah, you absolutely can't talk like that. But it's like, yo, you really don't know what Christians in Florida are like, or what Christians in New York are like. So it's just like, I feel like I'm always gonna fall on the more liberal side because I feel like it's just more perspective driven, more understanding. But I don't fault nobody because it's like, you know.
And I will say, to add to your point, I do feel like it's mad different coastally than it is across America. Like, so if you're in Seattle, San Francisco, LA, San Diego, Atlanta, DC, New York, right? It's way different than when you start getting into like the heart of the Bible Belt. Like the culture is just different.
That's true.
Out here, we've historically said hella. Like that's like we just Californians.
Some people think that's wrong,
and some people legit like are offended by us saying hella or listening to secular music. Like I've always been like, yo, don't make blanket statements and say all secular music is evil because that's just not cool. You know what I mean? So we've seen that in terms of the separation. Another degree I would say is I've had friends from Ireland, and you're Irish, right? Charlie Powers is Irish.
I'm also Irish. Just on that.
Boom. That have gone and done mission trips in Ireland, that have believers that have came from Ireland, and Ireland, they just cuss. Like the Christians there cuss. It's completely socially acceptable. Pastors, right? And it's like
don't know.
And it's like, what, are they not Christians?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And so their cultural norm is completely different. One of my biggest, you know, I'm a fan of Bono. U2, you know, Bono. Their music is clean for the most part, but he's cussed publicly before, and it's just not a thing in different subcultures. So I feel you on that. John Keith, what do you think in terms of just culture, liberties? Like, what are the lines? Like all these different things that I think people, the public conversation, they're trying to figure it out.
I don't know. I think as we move further into culture, you know, people. I don't know, just in time as we progress, I think people are, I don't know, I think my stance on this is going to become very unpopular. But I feel where you're coming from. You know, I think that in certain contexts, you know, not all language, not even like all cuss words and stuff like that is evil. I don't think so, but at the same time, like I've always said, like for me personally, I think that for believers, if something is going to ruin your witness, if it's going to give somebody a reason to say you're a suspect, I would just, you know, I'm staying away from that. I'm going to make an effort to stay away from that. But another thing
you're willing to lay down that liberty for the sake of not blowing your witness.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Because that, I mean, I feel like that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the gospel,
yes,
you know, is ultimate, big picture is the goal. And I feel like if we compromise little moments, the big picture gets, like, you know, corrupted. But I feel like another thing is I hear all the time that, like, something a friend of ours said the other day was like, you know, someone, like, you need to be able to show, like, who you are and express yourself. And I think that is cool, but I think that we need to be open to, like, I think when we get so married to that, like, I need to express myself and I need to show people who I am in this sense, like just
overly authentic,
everything,
right?
That's
like kind of
overly
what I was
authentic.
getting at, yeah.
Then it's like you become married to this idea of yourself, and you're not really open to God changing you, because that's ultimately what the goal is.
Yeah.
You want God to change you, because let's be real here, we don't look a whole lot like Jesus.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, me, like personally, where I'm at is like, if there's something in my life that I know is not right, I'm not gonna, I might like talk about the struggle of it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna like,
Not gonna glorify.
I'm not gonna glorify it.
Yeah.
Even if that's how I feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
And I think
I
that's a very healthy boundary, and I'm sure you would agree with that. Like if there's a sin in your life, we shouldn't talk about it in a way that makes the sin look good.
Yeah, I agree.
I think most people would agree with that, and I think we would agree that it's tough because we're not. Some of the people.
But so you can argue about like what is making it look good. You know what I'm saying? Because let's say
Get a little closer.
Let's say like I'm a rapper, so it's like if I say something about a sin, it might sound cool just because I said it cool, but that doesn't mean I'm glorifying it. You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. I think
there's two different ones though. I think there's like, it could be like, let's say for in the topic of like sex, right? So like, you could write a song where it's like, this is what happened, or you could write a song where like, yo, I'm gonna go do this, and then I'm gonna go smash this chick, and then I'm gonna go, you know what I'm saying? Like, where it's like, people, like, you're talking about it like, this is what I'm going to do, this is what
who
I'm
I
about.
am.
Like, this is what I'm about, you know what I'm saying? I think in that context, it's like, if you're a believer, that's not okay.
I think we would agree on that. I don't feel like you do that in your music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not either.
I think if you did, I would tell you like, hey, bruh, this ain't, you know what I'm saying? This ain't cool. I think the tough part, and just to even back up, is like some of the people that are part of this conversation, we don't even know if they're coloring within the lines of like Orthodox Christianity, right? And by that I mean like Jesus is Lord, Jesus rose from the grave, the Bible is the final authority over human behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the inspired word of God. Like there's certain like parameters that I think it's tough because some of the people that are kind of a part of this conversation, or maybe have not wanted to be a part of this conversation but are a part of this conversation by default because of marketing purposes or whatever, how they came into the game, aren't even Bible-believing Christians. So it's tough to even like draw those lines, you know what I'm saying? Because like you could just weasel your way out of it and be like, well, what's a sin? Well, this isn't a sin. Well, free love and energy and vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we could kind of we can move outside of those parameters. I would ask you though, John Keith, what if that very same liberty that you think can cause somebody to dismiss your witness?
Yeah, to
ruin your witness. What if that same liberty in a certain context was the actual thing that was giving you credibility with non-believers, right? So I think for you, and this is kind of where I want to land on, we'll just get to it. I think you using the N-word gives you an edge and a human aspect that allows you to speak to a demographic of people that maybe you or I wouldn't be able to speak to. And I think that's an advantage that you have, and I think it's a liberty that I believe the Lord is using because he's giving you influence with people. And I just be looking at some of the cats that be like, you be reposting on your Insta story, like not John Keith fans, like not like Andy Mineo fans. You know what I'm saying? Like no disrespect to Andy Mineo or KB or anybody, like different audiences. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's dope. Like I think there's room for that. So like in your context, like does it hurt someone's?
I think that there's two different ways it could go. I mean, like, on one side of things, I don't think I have to convince anybody that I'm human.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm just saying.
I know, but I'm just
saying in his context.
Yeah.
It seems to be working.
Yeah. It can work as like a like somebody's gonna listen to your music and be like, yo, this is something I'm more used to. Like, this isn't corny, like this isn't, you know what I'm saying? Where someone might listen to my music and be like, that's corny, I don't rock with that. You know what I'm saying?
I honestly don't think it's about corny or not corny.
No, but let me
just
so I'm saying like, because of what I say that to say that like the way Like what you have in your music might be the thing that connects you to that person easier. Is what I'm saying. But I think that it's because it's like, I want to say 2 different audiences. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time.
But my thing, I just want to cut in. Like, I just feel like nobody's really wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, okay, you gonna have like your certain mindset and mission that you've been given from God. Like, okay, this is how I gotta attack. I feel like I gotta be like, I gotta not say certain things like this, because to me this will ruin my witness. And in me, I just feel like, well, that's not really gonna ruin my witness. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I don't really feel like there's like a clash. There's a clash because of, like, you know, we're human, so we get in the way. Like, our minds, we always want to, you know, fix everything to line up with us. But I just feel like everybody doing their thing. Like,
I'm with you, and I would say everybody's doing their thing. I don't think anybody's corny. Like, I think we just need to stop. Like, because the more we keep saying like Christian rap or Christian hip hop's corny, the more we give power to that thought. And I think we got to stop giving power to that thought. I don't think what you do is corny in the least bit. I don't think what you do is corny.
Me neither.
I don't think any of us are corny. I think how I look at it is just like, just say like, in the grand scheme of God grabbing somebody's heart and moving them towards loving him and filling themselves with content that is reflective of that, right? So let's just say we want them, this is a hypothetical, I'm not saying this is what we want, but just follow me. We want them to land in a place where they love worship and they love praise music and they love hearing the word of God, they love hearing sermons, right? That's where we want to get them to, right? And I think it's just like if you're trying to eat right, like if I'm trying to eat right, like I can't go from like cereal, Lucky Charms, sugary food to like eggs with no seasoning overnight. It's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like to some degree, if we're trying to get him to this direction, like Foggy might be like that oatmeal that got the flavor to it and got the sugar to it, and it's the easier transition. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still oh, I was listening to this.
That's what I mean.
I was listening to Migos. I was listening to just like complete debauchery, but this is like, okay, this is an on-ramp to where we want them to be. And I would say, John Keith, maybe you're like more so of like, yo, this is like when my wife makes like sweet potatoes and scrambled eggs and like it's still good, but some people don't have the palate just yet. Neither of it is corny, neither of it is whack, neither of it, like, it's all cool, it's all good. And I love the, you know, the oatmeal with the sugar and the, you know what I mean, like the extra flavoring. Y'all know what I'm talking about, that pre-packets of oatmeal, right? And I love
instant oatmeal.
Instant oatmeal, yeah, the instant oatmeal. And I think there's space for everything, and I think it's dope. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's corny. I just think they're serving different purposes for where people are at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think the divisive part is when we stop understanding that we're doing similar things in a different way, that we're part of the same process.
But that's everybody vibe, bro.
Well, that's why I want to have more of these conversations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think. Well, for one, Ruslan just called me sweet potatoes, and he called Foggy oatmeal,
instant oatmeal
with sugar in it. I don't know how I feel about that. But what I'm saying, I'm playing. No, what I'm saying is, I also think that a lot of Christians, and specifically, I don't know, am I allowed to say this? I feel like a lot of Christians and Christian hip hop fans, like, are real.
Say it, man. Legalistic.
Pharisees.
Ooh, well, you didn't drop the Pharisee word on them. Okay.
I think a lot of people is the same people, if you take it back, that have looked at Jesus and been like,
yeah,
you sitting with who?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. You know who you are. And I feel like, I don't know, like, I mean, like, that, I say that to say that I don't think that, like, I'm in agreement. Like, I don't think that what he does, or, I can't even think of anybody else, but, like, I don't think what you do is, like, wrong or ill intent or anything. Like, I don't think there's any really, you know, negative part about it, especially because I know that you know Jesus, and if it was, like, you'd be convicted. Like, I would, you know what I'm saying? Like, you'd be miserable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe that. So, I mean,
it's like that verse in Corinthians, like, there's different parts of the body. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's all the same body, and one part shouldn't say to the other part. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I think it's like that. Foggy, you want to add anything to that thought?
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, all you self-righteous people, y'all gotta chill. Because, I mean, like, and I'm joking, but I'm serious because it's like I just be seeing like y'all just be so mad. Like, all right, my thing is this, right? You got person A, he's preaching the gospel this way. Person B preaching the gospel this way. It's like everybody's doing it. Like, why you so mad?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
If, like your music had no God reference.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's just like, oh, I just feel like, oh, you're doing this. It's like, okay, then do something about it. You do something about it. Don't worry about what I'm doing. It's just like
that's a fact. Okay,
big man.
You stupid. Now, my question, my position on this really doesn't matter because I'm white, but I do have a black son. I do have a black son.
He does have a black son.
And, you know, I've thought about, like, am I going to want Levi to use the N-word? Am I going to want
I'm
Levi
actually really interested in that. How do you feel about Levi using the N-word one day?
I would prefer, well, one, when you start talking about your child being called that, it kind of changes it a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Called that in what way?
Like if you were to come over and Levi was kicking it and all of a sudden you called him a little N-word. Like, I'd be like, I
could definitely see myself doing something.
I would probably feel the way. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't know how my wife will feel, but so if I'm being honest, like I'll probably feel the way. However, I'm white. I don't. My opinion really doesn't matter. Like that's like an in-house black people
like it does
conversation.
It's your son.
It matters because it's my son, and I would probably prefer that he not use the word. But I do understand that some people don't use it in a demeaning way. Like people use it in an endearing way. So if he grows up and he's of age, and you know what I mean, he wants to use it in a way where they see it as different. Like I think that's on him. Just like if my wife doesn't, but just like if my wife was hanging out with all her girlfriends, and she got some friends that, you know, ain't all the way sanctified, but they was like, oh, what's up, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my man. You know what I mean? Like I would be like, oh.
Yo, who you talking to, son? What's happening?
I would probably not prefer that they refer to my wife as the B word. However, but if it's a thing amongst her female friends, I don't really get a position on that, and I don't need to have a position and an opinion about every single thing. That's a whole nother concept of like white privilege that I think white people just want to own everything and have an opinion about everything. I don't need to. As a white father of a black son, I'll probably prefer that he not be called that until he's able to understand and really own the word and make that decision. I definitely wouldn't want that personified and projected on him like that. You know what I'm saying? But you choose to use the word in your private life and in your art. I don't have a problem with it. I jam out to it. I show my nephews the music, all that. You choose not to use the word. You're not using the word in your personal life. You definitely don't use it.
I slept up a few times tonight.
You don't use the word. You don't use the word in your music. And I show my nephews the music. You saw my nephew. We was playing him some new tunes.
He said, "It's alright.
It's alright. He should be cool." Just break that down once and for all. Like liberty, like express your heart behind it, because I'm tired of people asking me about it, and I'm just like, y'all need to ask him about it. But I don't think it's that big of a deal, and I still rock with his music. That's what I always reply to people. But I do get asked about it, like probably once or twice every 2 weeks. Like it comes up. Yeah.
Hey, how come Foggy says the N-word in his music? Is that a?
Well, it's more so like
Christian. Does he love Satan now?
That was so funny, bro.
They don't say the N-word. They say like, why does he choose to use vulgarity? And I was like, well, vulgarity is like subjective to what's intended and the purpose behind it. Like he's not using it in a way to demean somebody. Like it's an endearing way, and the way he's saying it isn't as a curse. It's just like it's the thing he says. And I think he's actually very strategic with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna speak for you. Break it down.
So I feel like first it's like this. It's like, okay, you know, we've had Christianity for a long time, right? It's like there's been endless beefs. Like, oh, I feel like you shouldn't, you know, baptize people by sprinkling, and I feel like you shouldn't, like, you know, whatever. It's like, I feel like we should just have enough perspective to be like, okay, am I gonna be the one who's gonna tell somebody, yo, you can't use this? Like, bro, people are just gonna use it. Yeah. So first of all, it's just like, don't try to just be in everybody's, you know what I'm saying?
You don't need to have an opinion on it.
You don't need to be in everybody's thing like that. Then I just feel like, so, you know, when I was in school, I took anthropology, and we were just learning about like words and what words are. So all words is like, it's like how do I say? It's a word is just a sound, right? That means something else. So it's like, if it's like a group of two or whatever, it's like, okay, they decide what this sound means, and then that's all a word is. So if me and my boy,
you breaking down words,
you know,
right now. That's dope.
You know, that's why I grew this out, just to come over here. But it's like,
drop some gems.
if me and my friend decide, okay, ooh ah means okay, go outside, then that means to us ooh ah just means okay, we gotta go outside. So it's just like, okay, if we say the N-word means okay, my friend, my brother, then that's just what it means to us. It's like there is no this is what this word means. It's like, oh, because let's say some white people said, oh, it meant something bad, is that what it means forever? No, it's just that's what it meant to them, and then this is what it means to us. So it's just like, stop tripping, man. It's all, everybody's having a good time. Everybody talking about God. Like, people just be tripping.
Just chill.
I feel like, for me, there's a couple reasons why I'm choosing not to, or I'm trying not to say it. I've been doing pretty good, actually, recently.
You have been doing, you've been doing really well. I commend you.
Well. Because, yo, I was like, all right, I had a slip up. I had some slip ups tonight, Zach. Get off my back. So I got to a point where it was, I didn't realize I was saying it. Like, we were somewhere, oh man, it was getting bad. It was getting bad to the point where, like, I didn't realize who I was calling that. To be honest with you, I've probably accidentally said that to Levi. It just, to keep it a buck, it's probably happened.
Broke my heart.
That's what I'm saying, because I didn't realize that I feel like that's a valid reason for me to stop saying it. I was like, I don't know who I'm saying this to anymore. That's how much I'm saying it.
Wow.
A. B. I got sick and tired of the... What? I mean, you say it, so I can...
Oh.
I'm just... You know what? All right, if you're gonna... we just... Neither of us gonna say it. How about that? But to be honest...
The whites made you stop saying it.
Nah, not even just... To be honest with you... check this out. I've never...
white strike again.
Look, I've never had this conversation with a white person. Only Mexicans. I've only had that conversation with Mexican people.
The Mexicans.
Mexicans made me stop saying it. Like, but to be honest with you, I was like this. I was at a point where it didn't matter if you were white, black, Mexican, Chinese, or green. I don't care. If you were calling me the N-word and I don't know you, you could be black. You could be black and be like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
I'm like,
totally different.
Don't call me that, because we're not friends and you don't know me.
That's a fact.
So that's not my name, A, and we're not friends. Why are you calling me that? So, and to just avoid, so I mean, like, there's so many, you know what I'm saying? There's so many factors for me.
Because that can get hairy, right?
Because I don't, like,
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, out here,
Oh,
like
really?
the Mexicans say it, white people say it.
Okay.
Like,
look, yo, man, I ain't never in my life, I've been called the N-word by, okay, take that back. I was gonna say about one white person. That's not true. But a lot of them, most of them were, and that was another thing for me. It's like, if we are friends, and this is a huge controversy. People have a problem with this. No, I'm saying this. You can cut it out.
Oh, we can cut it out?
Look,
no, we're not cutting anything out. We ain't cutting nothing out.
He can cut this out if he wants to.
I just think that
I'm super close with Zach Sparazzo, right? If Zach Sparazzo said the N-word, I'm not tripping. Sure. I'm tripping. Zach's tripping. Zach, I told Zach this. I told Zach this in Texas. I was like, you get one pass. but then he got super excited, and I said, never mind. He was like, I was like, nah, bruh, you too hype right now. I'm not with it no more.
I think that the dangerous part in that, and I get it, like, and I've had black friends give me, it's okay for you to say, you get the honor.
I try and give people to say.
Here's the thing, is someone might get too comfortable, and I've seen this transpire, where white people or Mexican people get a little too comfortable, and then they say it a little too loud, and then all of a sudden the whole vibe changes, because they said it in front of some people that they shouldn't have said it in front of, that they didn't have relate, and then when it becomes a part of your vernacular, like, I think that's dangerous. And I just think it's like, yo, it's okay for black people to have their own word. Like, why is that not a, like, why is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's the epitome of, like, white privilege. Like why is it that, like, white people, and I'm white clearly, but why do we feel like we have to have a monopoly on everything? Like we you know, like black culture, black music, black athletes, black sports. Dang it, they're kneeling during the protests. Like, dang it, no, this is our time, America, play flag, America.
That's
you know
literally.
It's like, yo, why does it have to be like dominant in every context? Like, everybody has their own, like, there's certain nuances of Armenian culture, like certain things they call themselves, like it's okay, but for whatever reason, when black people want to have their own or like when women, I think if women want to call themselves the B word in a playful context, like, that's on them. I don't need to have an opinion on it. If I got a daughter, or please don't call my niece that. Please don't call my son that.
So
you know what I'm
fast.
saying?
If you can call,
but if she grows up and she's of age and she wants to call that and call her homegirls out in the play, I don't need to have an opinion on everything. I don't need to have a position on everything. And maybe that's controversial. You know
I got
what I'm
an
saying?
opinion on that. I'm just
On what, the B word?
On the B word.
If your cousins or your sisters were hanging out and in their little context, you were walking by and they were talking and they were laughing. They were laughing and they were calling themselves that. You would stop and have an opinion.
I have checked my little sister for calling my other little sister the B word. I have, and I will continue to do it.
So why is the N word different then?
It's not.
The N word, for me, because the N word, just like you said, is like.
People are gonna even be disgusted at this whole conversation.
No, they are. They are. Yeah.
Look at how far Christianity has gotten.
Yeah. What was it? How come? No. I'm
leaving all this in there.
You're gonna leave all of it.
We leaving all of
Leave
it
it so they can hear
I'm
it.
glad you're gonna leave all of it in there. Like, I feel like that specifically is just such. I feel like it's disrespectful any way you cut it. That's a female dog. You said it earlier. It's a female dog, bro.
We were talking about Anderson .Paak earlier, and we all didn't agree that. I thought it was derogatory when he says it on Suede, but we even had mixed opinions amongst ourselves on whether or not the heart and the context behind he was saying was hurtful and derogatory. I would say yes. Don't call my sister that. Don't call my niece that. Don't call my wife that. But again, I'm talking women. I'm not talking about a man calling a woman that. I'm talking about women. I have preferences and whatever, but I don't need to always be proclaiming my public position.
And your feelings though doesn't mean that it's wrong or right.
No,
it just means that's how you feel about it.
He's
You know what I'm
sensitive to
saying?
certain things.
Yeah,
But
and that's
let me
okay.
ask you this though: is it possible for us to change the meaning of every word?
Yes,
You can do that.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I don't know.
Because I feel like
The word
we're
Christian,
gonna do that-
the word Christian has evolved and changed, and it means something different
Bro, words-
now than it
I
did back
say this
then.
because this is what I'm saying. Like, if this is the case, then shouldn't nobody be offended at nothing?
Not
If you-
words.
if you-
it's,
if
all,
word-
it's only the spirit of what you're trying to say
context.
that can actually.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, if are you cool with Charlie calling you the N-word?
No.
But he doesn't mean it in a. Or how about the B word? Let's not even say the
No,
N-word.
let's say
Let's
that word.
the
Let's say
B
that word. Let's say
Okay.
that word. So I would feel like this how I am. I feel like I wouldn't approve of white people using the N-word. Now I feel like if Charlie said it in a way where, or any white person said it in a way where it's like, oh, but you say it like mine, you know what I mean? It's like I can't really get mad at that, but I don't approve of it. But I'm not gonna just be like, oh, you just, you know what I'm saying? I can't just make my own rules as I go along. Like, or I just feel like, oh, you got to go to jail because, or you know what I'm saying? It's just everybody has these different perspectives. So you get your perspective across, and then you go about it. Cause think about it. As much as black people don't want white people to say the N-word, they still say it. You know what I'm saying? It's going on.
Right.
So it's just like,
It's going on.
what am I gonna sit here and talk about? White people should never say the N-word. They're gonna say it. I say you shouldn't say it, but you're still gonna say it. So it's just
you have to
like,
look back in the camera. I said, don't say it.
but they still
What you
gonna
gonna
say
say?
it. So it's just like, I just got my perspective on it, and I just keep moving. You know.
I do think that we do live in a very like PC sensitive
It's super
generation.
sensitive.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's real sensitive and wants to have an opinion on everything. And I'm just okay with just not having opinions on certain things. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, man. Like go ask Foggy about that. I don't got a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Go
and
ask
so
Foggy.
I think it was dope to hear you guys clarify both your oppositions. I think you guys have very very thoughtful positions, and I think they're both coming from a Jesus-loving place. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's super dope. Can we get a joint with y'all two together though? I'm A&R.
Listen,
right now.
listen.
Not a joint.
Listen.
John Keith, Foggieraw.
At the end of the day, God is with the real niggas. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I can't be mad at that. I can't be mad at what just happened.
Can y'all do a song together called That?
The giant
Yes. Yeah.
There you have it. Any final thoughts? Any final opinions? You got a question for the people that are watching this in the comment section, or
I have a question for them.
You have a question for them?
What's wrong with y'all? I'm just playing. I love y'all.
I just want to say I love y'all, and I just want to say I want y'all to comment what you guys have learned today. That's it.
I just want you to go down into the comment section, and I want you to begin to just war with one another.
Oh my God! Please
and
don't.
tear each other apart.
Cause that's what you're gonna. That's what you were gonna do anyway.
No, I'm playing.
I think Foggy posed a real good question. Instead of being divisive, instead of saying what you do or don't disagree, probably disagree with me on some things. You probably disagree with Foggy. Probably disagree with John Keith. Instead of saying what you disagree,
What did you learn?
what did you learn today? What did you learn today? And drop that in the comments.
Because if you didn't learn anything, something might be wrong with you. Maybe you're prideful.
Ooh, there you have it.
Maybe you're pharisaical.
Ooh, he said the
Is that a real word?
Pharisaical.
I don't know.
Made it.
Oh man, I was about
Alright,
to say,
you
yo,
went to
I
college,
learned
so
I did go to college. Yes.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching this. Shout out to the Patreon. Make sure y'all following Foggieraw, Foggieraw and everything. John Keith, new music. Everybody got new music on the way. Y'all stay tuned. Peace.